Are we coming in clear? Is my other mic
Check.
on? Is it on? Hello? Both mics are coming in hot.
All right.
Hey, kind of similar tone. You're stealing my licks, bro.
I'm trying every time. I'm going to post them on Instagram as my own.
You're gonna like.
All right, everybody. I'm going to teach you a lick today. This is an original.
Took me like 4 hours to come up with that perfect intro there. That the technique just.
That was like take 10 or 11.
Yeah,
I think,
you get the perfect take, and then you fake it for the Instagram. There you go. So yeah, I'll play. You just do it. You do it. It looks really, really good. Hello.
Perfect. Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Big Shiny Tones. I'm Jay, Leonard J.
I'm Jonathan Lindsay.
Oh, we got our little mugs here, a little bit of water, and welcome to another thrilling,
Here, cheers.
bone-chilling, spine-tingling episode of Big Shiny Tones. I like this new setup we have.
Yeah, it's good.
We have guitars.
We should use that intro for the Halloween episode.
Bone-tingling. It's bone-chilling.
On Big Shiny Tones.
Is Vincent Price still alive? We could get him in on this.
I wonder.
I don't think he is. I'm gonna throw it
He'd be
there.
very old.
He would be, or he wouldn't have that same little timbre to his voice. Yes, he's definitely dead. I'm willing to put money down on this.
Ooh, you're going out on a limb on that one.
Rest in peace, buddy. So,
all right, we got a great show today. We're looking at a brand new amp from EVH, and we're gonna take a listen to it and play it, and we're gonna talk Relic guitars.
Ooh.
Whether it's a good idea or not, I don't know. We'll find out. And we got big pedal board to look at. So lots of cool stuff.
oh, exciting episode.
Very
So
exciting.
yeah, we could tell right now we got ourselves some like super strats going on. I got a little Ibanez.
I got the Charvel. That's because we are plugged into the brand spanking new EVH 5153 Hypersonic.
So what is a hypersonic amplifier?
So Hypersonic is their new line, which is a little bit of what like Fender's Tone Master series is to EVH. So that's what's going to be very probably controversial to a lot of people, is that this is a digital EVH 5150. First time ever.
They're all going in that direction, eh?
Yeah. Well, and it's like, you can go digital plugins on your computer. You can go digital models in your, Helix, Fractal, whatever, or you can go digital in a physical amp box. So
So the knob layout's the same? So is it like the Tone Master where it's pretty much
identical.
Like
Yeah, exactly. So they do quite a few different versions of the 5150s. This is based off the 5153 50-watt 6L6 combo.
Well, here's a little thing. I've never played a 5150 amplifier before. I've made it this far.
Well, it's going to be your first time, and it's going to be a digital one.
It's going to be a digital one to get the true taste of it.
I've tried a handful of different 5150 variations. I actually haven't tried this particular one that it's based on, the 50-watt 6L6 one, but that's kind of the most famous one, I think, the 5153s, which are the last 10 years or so since Fender's had the brand. It's been the latest iteration. This one's been the really popular one, and then they did a even higher gain version of it called the Stealth, which has been super popular as well. So I think these are the two most famous ones out of the 5150 line. So it makes sense that this would be the first one that they would do. And it's also interesting to me when I heard about this, that they were doing it as a combo right out of the gate. Because to me, a lot of EVH players are playing, big heads, like 50-watt, 100-watt heads and stuff like that.
Well, then again, right, if you're buying a digital amp, chances are, you don't want it in – I think it's about light and it's about portable when it comes to I'm going to go get that's why I think a lot of people like the Tone Masters. It's like, oh, look, I got a super reverb. I got a twin. But and it weighs nothing.
It's like half the weight.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like nice and so I think
this is lighter. This is not as featherweight as the Tone Masters.
That's 40 pounds. So that's
39.
Deluxe.
It says. So it's quite a bit lighter than the actual tube version of this. But they didn't put a neodymium speaker in here.
I like that.
So it's a real speaker in here. It's the EVH Celestion, which is a really nice speaker. I have one of their 112 cabs, and it's great. It's like a little bit like in the territory of a vintage 30, but the top end is kind of rolled off a little bit in a real sweet way.
For all you uninitiated out there, a neodymium speaker and what neodymium? What do they call it?
Dinium?
It's a very lightweight magnet, and a lot of like modern high-end systems they kind of have neodymium because it's very light, has a really great frequency response, very kind of the trend now. Classic amplifiers usually alnico ceramic.
Yep.
So usually when they're coming out with these lightweight portable amps, has the neodymium, which is a cool sound, but definitely different than the classic sound. So actually the fact that this is, it's a mixture, it has the full digital kind of accoutrements coming out, the speaker is really a big part of the voice of an amplifier. So the fact that they're going old school, I kind of like it. I don't mind the extra 5 pounds or whatever it's going to be to have a nice classic kind of
it's not going to be drastic. And I think that's one of the reasons they went with the combo out of the gate too, is like I was talking to one of the guys at EVH about this, and this way they can control the end product of the sound, right? Because if they did it in a head out of the gate, everybody's going to go and plug it into who knows what.
Their Marshall 412 or their PV 412 or their...
or who knows, they'll plug it into their computer speakers or something, and then they're going to go, oh, this doesn't sound like a 5150, and then it's like, well, okay, what are you plugging into? Well, you shouldn't plug it into that. You should plug into this or whatever. This way they can be like, this is how it's going to sound if you do it right. This is how it's really going to sound.
Like if you get like a Fender amp and you put it through a bunch of Celestian vintage, it actually sounds very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different. It's actually very surprising how much of the sound is the speaker. So you could definitely control things and voice. I guess you could voice it to work the best. That being said, there are the IR things in there, right?
Yep.
We got noise gates. We got all the candy in here.
Yeah, it's got 3 noise gates.
3 for each channel.
Because there's 3 channels.
You got to have that clean channel noise gate.
Well, as we discovered, as we'll demonstrate, the clean channel is not particularly clean, and actually it sounds best when it's not quite clean.
Well, why don't we just dig into it?
Totally.
Why don't you start?
Are we on the clean?
We're on clean.
Oh, I'm in here.
So this is how we dialed in the clean here. This is our clean adjacent tone.
And should I start with single coil or humbucker?
Let's go single coil. Oh no, humbucker. Let's hear the humbucker because we don't want to sell it. This is the first impression. Oh, that's actually we gained it up.
It's a little dirtier than we thought, but we dialed it in with that guitar. So you'll hear what single coils in a second. Anyways.
There's some really nice
nice.
overtones in there. Surprisingly pretty in the gain department.
Yeah.
Definitely not the clean sound that you would expect from the clean sound.
If I flip it to split
Let's see what that sounds
coil
like.
and take that tone down a bit, should clean up a bit.
Oh, that's a lot.
lot more.
That's how we dialed it in for the single. That's nice and spanky. Nice and and just the kind of the hair on the edge of the when you get the dirt under the fingernail, that's kind of like the sound.
I always hate it when I get dirt under my fingernails.
Oh, I love it. That's the tone right there. The dirt on the finger. This is the
this
is actual
a real
single
coil.
So definitely cleaner. It's a way lower output. Now, you might be wondering why we dialed this in with that little bit of grit. It's because actually, I think when we were going for like a pure clean sound, we found that we started getting some really harsh kind of overtones on the top end, I think.
Well, that's the gain.
Where are we?
That's the gain at about 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
And it only gets like pure clean at like way down
way
there.
Down.
Like kind of, what is it on the clock? haven't looked at a clock in so long.
Here, you can here. There you go.
There you go. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Like 8 o'clock, like 7 or 8 o'clock is where you get the totally clean. Once you pass there, it starts breaking up like this. But I think also like whoever's buying an EVH 5150, generally not looking for super clean tones. This amp is about the gain for sure.
Yeah, I think so. So that being said, let's go hear the gain. We have 2 channels of gain. So there's
Two,
a 3
yeah.
channel. And then we have those nice concentric pots in channel 1 and channel 2.
Yeah, that's kind of a cool thing, which the original one does is channel 1 and channel 2 share the same pots, but they're concentric, so you can dial them in. And then the red channel, channel 3, has its own sort of knobs, because otherwise it would be like this long of an amplifier. It would be crazy.
You have to have like multiple rows, like Mesa Boogie style. You know, like rows of different things. I don't mind the concentric pots. The thing that kind of bugs me about these concentric pots is the top pot is like a pointer. And I found that when I was turning the bottom pots, because that little bit of the pointer sticks out,
Be a little
I
careful.
was constantly like accidentally knocking the second channel. That was the only thing. I'm going to be a little nitpicky. That was a little thing. It'd be cool to have the longer one in the bottom and then a nice stubby one in the top. That would, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I guess you
kinda
could
where
probably
my
do
heart
You could do that.
Anyway, second channel. Let's go hear what this sounds like. Number 2, the blue channel. Is that what it's
The
called?
blue channel, yeah, and this is, I think, everybody's favorite channel on the Tube 5150s. The blue is like gets you basically anywhere from like hard rock to classic rock and everywhere in between.
Yeah, let's go hear
Check it out.
the
All right,
beauty.
let's go.
That's the sound, buddy.
It's not
Ouch!
Bad. It's not bad.
He's on fire.
not bad.
He's on fire.
It's got a little bit of sustain. It's just
Yeah, that's a nice bolt. Is 5150, is that a PV thing or is that they're separate?
well, no, it's a Van Halen thing,
Yeah, I know. That's
and it's like trademarked by whoever owns the Van
'Cause
Halen
didn't-
trademarks.
didn't-
But
in my
it
head,
was
it was a PV.
yeah, because PV did the 5150 until Eddie left
And
PV, and he took the name with him.
I get you.
So the name has followed Eddie along.
Oh, got you. So this is not connected with PV at all.
No, this is because Fender owns the EVH brand. So when he left PV and went to Fender and they did the whole EVH brand around him and brought the 5150. But it's that same sort of heritage and topography. And PV has since continued to produce variations of the 5150, but they had to change the name, of course, so it's called the 6505.
Oh, I wonder how they came up. Because this is digital, should they call this the 10111111? Maybe.
Ba-dum-tsh.
You like it? You like that? That was really good. I'm proud of that one. These are. I like playing with distortion. I never play with distortion.
Oh, it's so much fun.
I
man.
know it. No,
It's
it's
great.
I'm a fuzz guy, so I'm used to like horrible attack. Like I'll play the note, go out for lunch, and then eventually, by the time I get back from lunch, the note will kind of find its way and sag up. So having such an immediate sound with like tightness and low end and like definition, that's pretty.
It's
rad.
cool.
I like that.
See, and I'm the opposite. I'm more of a distortion guy, especially amp distortion. So I'm used to more this sort of tone,
Yeah.
and fuzz is like a little bit strange to me.
Frightening,
It's
a frightening
unfamiliar.
world.
Yes, definitely frightening world.
All right, so now we have one more channel. We got the 3.
I mean,
is,
and what's the gain on there?
we're not. We're just.
That's in the middle.
Yeah, we're in the middle.
That's gain in the middle.
That's more than enough. I think people in general, when it comes to these like like an Engels and Hughes and Kettners and high gain amplifiers, revs, like you don't need to be putting that gain up as high as you think. You just need get it to that point where it's all keeping together, but you don't want to get so saturated everything turns into a mess and you lose definition.
It's kind of mushy.
There's-
I feel like most of them, once you hit about like kind of 2 o'clock, beyond there, you're not really gaining much in terms of tone and definition. It's just getting
bloated
Messier
and
bloated,
you're
yeah.
losing things. I always think, you kind of go up to that part where it's like just really saturated and really crazy and awesome, and then just back it off just a touch. And the backing it off a touch is actually for the audience. It's not for you, because we like to have the sustain. We like to have all that stuff because it hides all the mistakes. But just if you back it off a touch, the audience will hear your definitions more. Your notes will come through a little bit more clear, especially when you're playing in a big, thick band. When you're doing that orchestra show and you're getting really, really intense.
The orchestra show with your high gain amp.
Oh, buddy, watch out.
I don't know. Unless you're Yngwie Malmsteen or like Steve Vai, I don't think you should be doing that.
I disagree. Highly disagree. Especially for that nice like church Christmas show, where they get like the whole orchestra in there.
Okay.
They're the Christmas carols. Get a little bit. Big old G chord. Let it ring out under the as like underneath all the strings on top. Ooh, that would be.
That's my kind of Christmas carol.
That'd be so rad. Come on, get over yourself.
It'd be something. It might be your last church gig though.
Probably. Anyway,
so red channel, and what's the gain? Also in the middle.
Okay, in the middle. Was this the nastiest channel, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, it's the highest gain. It's going to be the most compressed. This is the one that's... A lot of people find it's, maybe too much gain, or you'll use it for leads or something like that. But sometimes this channel ends up being kind of scooped too. So let's see what happens with some chunky stuff. Oop. Oh. Well, the note certainly goes and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going.
It kind of has like a chainsaw metal kind of thing going on there.
It's like really, really high gain. Like that's
That's rad.
It's a lot of power on your fingertips. I mean, the blue channel was plenty.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like more gain, but
the funny thing is,
I don't know.
I feel this. I kind of have a similar thing with I have a Rev as well, and like I find that the highest gain channel, I actually like that for like big rhythm power sustained chords, and I actually like the less distorted channel for leads because they cut through more. So
yeah,
I might be on
sense.
the opposite end of the spectrum there, but that's a really gnarly kind of sound. That's pretty cool.
So you're like this closet high gain shredder all this time. You just never let us know.
The thing is, I know these songs, but I never play them because I don't play with distortion very often. So
suddenly busting out all these Satriani licks.
Satriani. That was a good album. I bought the album specifically because it had a cool cover and I was a kid. It had like the Silver Surfer on it. Oh, it's so awesome.
Totally.
So awesome. Okay, so one thing that's kind of sticking out to me with this amp is it's how quiet it is in this room here. Like to get that amount of saturation.
And we should put that back on and let's turn on the noise gate.
Oh, there's a noise gate. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh. Can you do like those really gated rhythms? How?
I don't know. Well, this guitar's going out of tune.
So much for your Floyd Rose theory.
It's like so dead quiet. It's crazy.
It's pretty nice. I like that.
If I roll it back
like
down.
a hard gate. That's good.
So there we are. No gate. And
You know, I don't use noise gates a lot.
me neither.
You know, but I understand like when you're going really, really high gain. But I like it because you could really kind of tighten up and chop up your sound, which is actually a pretty cool effect. Well, it's a pretty cool amp. It's not like you can be very, very gentle with the volumes, which is something I like about it. And
Well, it's got an attenuator on the back too. So
Yeah,
if you
do
want to
even
like
more.
rock out full volume, but at bedroom level,
is there
you
and
can
there's
do
like
that.
a headphone jack in it too, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you can do IRs straight out of it and all that too.
Cool.
But here's the big question.
Okay.
So this is a digital version of a tube amp. Does it feel like you're playing a digital amp,
You
or
know
does
what?
it feel like you're playing a tube amp?
That's the one thing nowadays is touch-wise, it feels very, very nice.
It does.
It like
Yes.
it is very dynamic. It's very like it does what the fingers do, and it has a very realistic feel. But what actually takes me out of it and makes it sound like a digital amp is the fact that we're able to get that amount of saturation at that low of a volume. Because usually
yes.
when you're playing at this volume, with a real tube amp, right, you're gonna have to turn down the master. You're gonna have to maybe use an attenuator, do all kinds of different things, and that's gonna bring a completely different quality to the sound. So there's kind of a sound of an attenuated tube amplifier that you don't really get with this. This just sounds like a wide open amplifier, only quieter, which kind of puts you in a completely different mindset. I feel more like I'm in, like when I play something through something like this, I feel more like I'm in a studio listening to the guitar on playback kind of thing. But not so much with this amp, just because I think there's the speakers giving a certain element.
Yeah,
to
the
things.
real speaker has it on there, and we're not in this case. We're not hearing it through like IRs
and stuff like
and
that.
like all that sort of thing. But yeah, I think you're right. In general, like with the modeled tube amps, generally we're hearing that through IRs and like microphone simulation. So you're getting more of that recorded tone of the amp as opposed to standing next to the amp and playing with it.
And there's also, you lose a little, because it's quieter in this room, like you're losing a little bit of that the talk from like the pickup and the speaker. Because what happens when you're in a room with a really loud amp, and I think this is why we love loud amps, like there's kind of like the pickups are it's picking up all the surroundings, and you're getting feedback and it's
loops
feedback
and stuff.
and it's like it's kind of they're working together to kind of add another layer of craziness and unpredictability, which makes the noise gate really. Whereas this one, everything is like, because we're quiet, nothing's really being crazy. Everything just sounds very kind of perfect, like perfect.
It's very polite for that amount of gain.
And yeah, but in terms of like the touch, it's pretty spot on to me. It feels really
Yeah,
good.
it feels good. And I'm excited to see more amps, like as we get further into digital amps, because obviously that's not going away and seems to be the future. I'm excited to see more stuff like this, where it's here. Yes, it's using some of what digital has to offer, but not making you feel like you're playing in a computer, you know?
Yeah, this is
Still like feels like playing a real
I
amp.
feel like this is the future of amplifiers, especially as it's getting harder and harder to get good tubes and all of that kind of stuff, and the unpredictability of tube amps. I'm seeing like a lot of people I know like around me are kind of using digital modeling, like multi-effects for like their rigs when they go on the road. And the ones that aren't, I see a lot of tone masters. I'm seeing a lot of those. And so I can see this going down there. Vox, is going to probably go down there. Marshall's going to go down there.
I know, that's what I'm looking forward to, seeing the whole industry do stuff like this.
It's going to be that, yeah.
It's going to be cool.
And
lightweight, portable, reliable in theory,
hard to and when it's broken, you buy a new one. You don't go to the shop and fix it.
yeah
But I think that's it. So yeah, that's it. That is the EVH Hypersonic 5150 350 watt 6L6. That's a lot of words on one.
It is. Well, it's a lot of numbers. That's for sure. But yeah, very exciting, brand new product, just out this week as of you viewing this. So
you can get it at Tapestry Music.
Oh,
can
how's
you?
about that? Yes.
Oh,
Well,
wow. What are the chances?
We happen to be sitting here, and it is right here, so presumably.
What a guest. You could get it. Wow. Okay, so buy yours at Tapestry Music. I think they only have one of these here, right?
Today.
Today. There you go. All right, so now we're going to bring it to our next topic.
I'm going to put this on standby.
Which is our unpopular... Why? We have the noise gate on. We can just let the thing rock on. Which is our unpopular opinion.
Unplug these guitars. Because I'm going to pass you a different guitar now.
Oh, very different guitar. Okay.
Because today, for unpopular opinion, we're going to discuss to Relic or not to Relic.
Ooh.
So we're going to look at some Relic guitars, which I've got some right here.
Fantastic. So, relicking, for the uninitiated, is most guitars, when I was a kid, all guitars were kind of shiny and pretty when you buy them. And now, more and more, you're seeing guitars that are kind of pre-beaten up to kind of simulate the look of a guitar that's been loved and damaged and destroyed through years of hard playing. Look at this thing. Oops. You know what's kind of cool about this Relic? It's like a color on top of a color.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
well, the imagination, gets pretty cool with some of these guitars. And there's an article that's coming out in Guitar World magazine where they're interviewing one of the head guys from Fender Custom Shop, talking about how they do the relicking process and how much work goes into it. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you just take some sandpaper, drag it behind the back of a truck or something like that, and you get a relic guitar. But there's a lot of they put a ton of work into making these relics and using like specialized tools to get all these different levels of relics, and some of these creative things like imagining what if this was had been one color then painted another color over the years
and beaten up.
So there's a lot that goes into it, but it is a very curious phenomenon. Like it's like the ripped jeans thing.
Yeah, that's usually what people go to, ripped jeans. Can you think of any other thing that you buy pre-distressed? Like you don't buy like, I'm gonna go buy a new Corvette. You're not gonna get the Relic, Yeah. I'm gonna get a new Honda Civic. Can I get like the 1980s?
If you go and get like a fridge or like something, you're not gonna get like a distressed refrigerator.
I usually see it in the fabrics, or like maybe home decor. They might have like some rustic stuff, like a
little bit with like furniture. There's been a bit of a trend, I think, to do like kind of treatments to make it look old. Oh, jewelry, really?
Like a pre-patinaed, like they might get brass and give it a little bit of like an aging to give it this worn-in kind of look. You might see that too in the jewelry store and stuff like that. So, but this is definitely, I know what I think. It's almost like the Fender kind of Fender's the first company I remember really doing the.
I think so. There's lots of companies do it now, but I think they were the first ones.
And I think there's like a couple reasons why I think it kind of happened. One, because Stevie Ray Vaughan, he was like the hottest thing, and everyone loved that real beaten up.
Yeah, his number one.
Yeah, the number one guitar. It was just so cool, and everyone thought like that. Like just like a ripped pair of jeans. Like sometimes seeing a guitar like that just goes like, well, what a history and what a story, and it just looks so tough and macho. And the '90s were all about being tough and macho with their giant ass watches. They're big old sports cars. There
Look
you
at
go.
That thing. Oof, that one's really relic.
Right, and so I think that idea of buying a guitar that kind of had that baked in. Especially for someone that couldn't play as often and is in very diverse places as Stevie Ray Vaughan, you can kind of have that. And I also think that there's this newfound Fender Custom Shop, and you could only make a Strat so expensive. So you're like, well, what can I do to make it
more expensive?
A little bit more expensive? And I think that's also another part of it. What do you think of relicking?
It's interesting. I mean, I have one Relic guitar. For the most part, I kind of gravitate towards new shiny things, but the Relic thing can be cool. I mean, I always kind of wonder like what people are trying to achieve with if they want to buy a Relic guitar. Like, is it just a fashion thing? Because obviously there's some mojo to a guitar that looks kind of beat up, and somebody sees you on stage with that, they're going to be like, oh man, that guy looks cool with that ripped jeans and that worn guitar.
And so it's all fashion.
So it's a fashion sort of thing.
It's fashion. Come on. You know what it is? Because a guitar is kind of like it's like costume. If you really think about it, right? Like when you go on stage, you go to your gig and you have your gig leather jacket and your gig jeans and your gig shoes. Having a guitar that fits the look of what you're trying to portray is, there, hate it or not, because if we're talking about mojo, like there is no mojo here because this was artificially aged. It's like, it's not, it's not like this was actually taken out and beaten up. So this is kind of like.
But I think a lot of people do find mojo in these guitars too, like something like this Novo, where it's super worn in feel. A lot of people don't want that brand new guitar feel. They're like, sticky. It feels too new. Like they want something that feels worn in, or something feels like something they've been playing for a long time. And
I could see that.
I see sometimes people in forums talking about a guitar where they'll say, I don't have the time to wear it down to make it like that.
Well, they have things like satin finishes and stuff that kind of give you that same feel, and you can make it look brand new.
I think there's sort of the idea that it's worn in, gives it a bit more mojo or something like that, which is interesting. Like, is that something that we just perceive, or is that something that is really in there? Like, if this same guitar didn't have all the aging on there, it was like shiny and brand new, would it have the same mojo? Or
there's a couple things about that I kind of like about aging. One, that you get rid of that paralysis of the first dent.
That is
right?
huge.
So,
my first Fender Custom Shop guitar that I got was not a Relic guitar. It was like a shiny one, brand new, shiny black. And the very first day that I had it, we had it on the bench, and my friend was back there. We were changing the pick guard, and a screwdriver got dropped right on top of it.
Exactly. And then boom, right? And then like
right on the front of the guitar. I was
for
like,
the first, and you're like constantly staring at it when you play. Right? It's just all you think about.
Me.
I remember, same thing. I got like this brand new a Modern Eagle 5 PRS guitar, and it was it's like the second day I got it, I had it like leaning against the thing, boom, and then I got a little piece missing out of it, and that's all you can see. Your whole life is about that thing. Whereas, if it was a pre-distressed guitar and you get that first chip, it's like, well, there you go. Now it's, it takes the load off. Also,
I mean, like a pre-Relic one like that, I mean, if you ding it or scratch it, you're like, oh, whatever. It's just adding to the mojo. It's adding to that appeal.
Yeah, I think it kind of just it lets you focus more on the playing of the guitar as opposed to the babying. Because I remember when people would get these brand shiny new guitars, like how much they would baby it, like constantly rubbing it down after every set.
Like, oh no, don't touch that.
And when they put
you can't play it. No,
there are no jean jackets because of the buttons and the zippers. All you got is zippers, and watch scratches ring. Take off your ring. When you get like a guitar like this, keep the jean. You could keep the jean jacket on. You can keep everything going on. Also, some people like the tones, the colors that come out. Like, you get more of the browns, the more yellowing of the finish. People kind of like that, as opposed to sometimes a color might seem too cool in terms of like the temperature of the guitar. Everything's when it's brand new and shiny, say you're a person with, a very pale complexion, it might just wash you out. Whereas if you have, you want some rich browns and some richer tones, then maybe a broken-in guitar might look better on you. I don't know, just, a little thought. And also, when you go to sell the guitar, if you're selling a guitar that's
an interesting one,
perfectly pristine, but then it has a couple dings on it because it's been played, what's going to happen is when someone buys that guitar, they're going to look at it and go, ooh, look, there's a scratch here, there's a scratch there, scratch there. Could you take like $500 off, $200 off? And then if you sell this guitar and I put a bunch of new scratches, people are going to look at it and go, oh, perfect, okay. And they give you the money.
Yeah.
Right? So it kind of makes the reselling part of it a little bit better.
It does. It does. Definitely makes it easier.
But
because there's that period where there's like a threshold a guitar has to cross. Like, because with vintage guitars, I think that's part of this, the movement with the Relics too, is people want those vintage guitars from the 50s and 60s that look so cool, and they're probably beat up because they've been played for so long, but the prices are just crazy on the real vintage gear. So you can get, an approximation of it with a Fender Custom Shop, like a 50s Jazzmaster here. There's no way that you could afford to buy the real thing, but you can get this, and it sort of gives you, the feeling like you've got that guitar without having to drop 50 grand or 100 grand or whatever. But there's sort of that like threshold with the old guitars where they look cool because they're beat up that much. And if they're only like a little bit, like, couple dings on there, it's like, oh, there was a ding on here and the rest of it doesn't look. But if the whole thing kind of has that old patina to it, that now it's crossed that threshold where it's cool because it's got those those sort of things on there. And I don't know how long it takes, like how many years, because like you're saying, if you've got that guitar that has like 2 little dings and the rest of it's perfect and it's 10 years old, that doesn't look cool. But if it's maybe 30 years old and it's got those 2 dings plus some other scratches on there,
and all
then all of a sudden that's cool. That's cool.
I think that's kind of where a lot of that, when it comes to the Relicing guitars, the one thing that kind of bugs me about certain Relic guitars is when like a bad Relic job is brutal. Like it's really brutal to look at, and there's like certain telltale signs, like if you look at this over here, right? Like you can see the exposed wood. They go out of their way at Fender to make sure that the wood underneath looks off-colored, because sometimes when they remove the lacquer,
sometimes they make it like really black or
something. And that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
Because if you just keep that just normal clean white maple, it's gonna look so fake, because it's just, you have this, because if you're rubbing a guitar like this so much to the point where you've created a divot in there, that means that divot should be pretty oiled up, and it should be a little bit indented. So if I look at, I'm literally right.
Well, yeah, especially on those old guitars, the frets were so low
there's
that
always a subtle
people
dip.
Wear in the the cowboy cord areas. It actually gets worn right in there.
So sometimes when I see a guitar and it has fingerboard wear, I actually and there's no kind of indentation. There's no. It's like a smooth transition, like no lacquer, and it's white maple.
Right.
It just looks. It doesn't look real to me. The other thing that I don't like about some Relic jobs is and this is kind of part of when you're talking about like mojo and creating a story about your guitar. The same way that people like get off on things like salvage denim. The thing is like, which is like high-end Japanese denim.
Oh, okay.
And what they do is they buy a fresh pair and they just wear it. They never wash it. And then eventually you'll see wear patterns on it that kind of marks their lifestyle, right? So like for me, if you look at my jeans, typically this leg is more faded than this leg, because I always have a guitar.
The guitar is always
on
like rubbing
leg,
on
right?
there, yeah.
Or like you'll always have a faded spot that's the exact size of your phone. So or the kind of keys you have. So like the way, if you're a person that's always sitting, you're a person that's always standing. You cuff your jeans, you roll your jeans. It's all gonna wear in a different way. And the thing that's and those jeans tell the story of the kind of person you are. When you get a Relic guitar, your story's not in there, and sometimes it's like the story of you. So like there is a very specific way, because of my technique, that I wear out my guitars. There's spots that always get worn out on all of my guitars. Frets, I'm always like, my default key is B minor. So I always see lots of wear in that B minor area, right? In that nice little pentatonic box. I always see lots of stuff on my guitars there. So when I do get like a heavy Relic guitar and I see that it doesn't have those spots, the wear patterns is maybe in a different area where I normally wear it. It just
like cowboy cord area here.
It just doesn't feel like my guitar. It just doesn't really feel like me. And then it kind of makes me want to put my story on it more, so I can kind of make it feel more like my guitar. But yeah, usually when I look at some Relic guitars, that's why generally I like it, just light. I like a lighter Relic if I'm gonna go with a Relic. Just enough, a little checking, just enough Relicing so that when I ding it, I don't feel bad. That's kind of where I like it.
Yeah, that's a nice sweet spot. Like some of them get a little crazy. I mean, like the SRV Strat obviously is an extreme example. I think maybe the craziest one out there might be like Rory Gallagher's Strat.
Crazy. Yeah, it's really
that one
nasty.
is like there's like
there's
nothing left of that guitar.
Why haven't they done the Willie Nelson distressed Martin
trigger with the
literally
hole in it?
No missing, like a missing
I wonder
sound.
if they ever will.
Look at that guitar. There's not even, look at
that one. It's just like, and Fender Custom Shop did like reissues of that, but there's like no paint left on that. And there's a guitar that just went on auction recently for like $300,000 or so, and it's oh shoot, what's his name? I'm totally blanking right now. British blues player.
Eric Clapton.
Oh yes, Eric Clapton. No, not Eric Clapton. Oh,
that's
so
all right,
embarrassing. He's a awesome blues player, but very, very Relic guitar as well.
I know. I tend to like light Relics. I also another way you can approach it too is getting a custom shop guitar. I find that a lot of custom shop Fenders specifically, they tend to have a lighter finish when you get a shiny one. So they actually wear in quicker than like say a vintage guitar.
Well, I was gonna say this is a great example of that too. So this is one of those new. What do they call these? It's the American Ultra Luxe Vintage, and it's got just the like
little
little crackles on there. And you know how they do this too, right? Is traditionally it's like you put this guitar, you took the body in an oven so you can heat it up, and then when you pull it out after it's heated up, you take a can of compressed air, flip it over,
That's cool,
and you
yeah,
go
yeah.
psht, and then it sends all this cold air on the hot lacquer, and it just makes it all crackle like that, which is really cool. But this one, they haven't gone and reliced the whole guitar. They've just kind of put these little cracked finish lines on there, and it feels like a pretty light lacquer too. So presumably as you play this, in your particular wear spots, you're going to wear it away a little sooner too. So that's probably a cool way to get a little bit of vibe, out the door as you get it, and then add your own touch to it over time.
Yeah, it's a neat. It's another thing that's kind of telling about. It's kind of I've been referring to Fender because Fender, when I think of relics, I think of Fender. I know Gibson has their series,
the Murphy Lab,
stuff. But another thing to keep in mind too, especially when it comes to the late '60s Fender custom shop guitars. Do you have anyone? Maybe you don't. But I could always tell a real kind of like mid late '60s relic versus a real '60s, because back I have a '68 Telly. And what they would do is they would have like this a kind of a more plasticky, harder undercoat, like a clear undercoat. And then they would spray the nitro on top of it, right? And it would kind of have this. And so when you wear it, you would kind of get this shiny lacquer kind of underneath
poking out
the
underneath,
thing.
right?
Whereas the modern custom shops, what happens is they don't put that kind of plasticky lacquer on it. It's just pure nitro. So actually you see the raw wood faster and it gets to the raw wood. So you can see just by the wear patterns that, this is a modern guitar. This isn't a vintage guitar. That's kind of
that's an interesting one. And they probably don't want to put a poly coat on there because people would say, I don't want to put a poly coat on my, $5,000 guitar.
Yeah. Little do they know that back in the old days.
But that's the way it was.
Yeah. I don't know exactly if it was what kind of poly it was. Probably a different thing, but the late '60s guitars, mid '60s.
Thank you, CBS.
There you go. Right.
Wow, interesting.
So
I don't know,
guess that comes
relic
down,
or not.
What do you think? I don't know.
That's a pretty personal one. I like some aspects of it as long as it doesn't get too crazy. But there's, I don't know. That's the fun thing with guitars, though, is there's so many different finishes out there, so many different looks, so many different takes on what is cool with guitars. I like that there's so many options and we're not pigeonholed to just like, this is cool, this is not cool, a bit of everything.
Yep. And really a lot of it too is like when you're getting a guitar, it's like, what is your look? What is the look you're going to try? If you're playing in like a grungy, rough and tough, Texas blues band, then get like a big old relic guitar. But
totally.
say you're playing in like, a tuxedo and you're playing, at the Queen Elizabeth Theater, and you're playing, some kind of like West Montgomery tribute group, maybe having a nice shiny guitar.
Nice L5,
might be kind of the direction. So you kind of have to figure out what's your personality, what's your where you're using the guitar. Because in the end of the day, when it comes to color and it comes to the way it visually, that is just fashion. It really is. It's just. Just like fashion, we express ourselves through our guitar. So find a guitar that connects with you, and that's the right guitar all the time.
Awesome. Well, let us know in the comments what you think. Are you a fan of relic guitars? Do you think it's a silly idea? Is it just like ripped jeans? Let us know. All right.
And that brings us to our next segment.
Rigs on Trial.
Rigs on Trial. We got a special one today, don't we?
Yeah, well, so if you remember earlier on in the season, we did my my small board. And
how many boards do you have exactly?
Just two.
Yeah, okay.
So we had my small board, and I mentioned that I had a bigger board, and so we had some people that wanted to see the big board.
Wow.
So here it is.
That
is the big board.
The board.
Mothership.
Wow, that's cool. Did you? What's the color coding? Explain the color coding to me.
That is so that it's easier for me to see on stage.
Oh, I see.
Because that is a one control MIDI.
The crocodile
pedals looper. That's the crocodile tail Wing, I think it's called.
I didn't even know about that one.
So that's their biggest one. It's like 10 or 11 different loops in there for your pedals. And so the whole idea, for those of you who are not familiar with a looper like this is not a looper like you'd record stuff to. This has got individual, basically, effects loops in there for all your pedals. And so all the pedals that are on that board are turned on all the time, but then they're hooked into that looper. And then it basically calls up different combinations of the pedals depending on what I've programmed in for each program on there. And because it's all anodized black on there, and then you got all those little buttons, which are quite close together, when you're trying to do, mid-song switches, I found sometimes I would very easily hit the wrong button. So my solution was to just put some obnoxious colored tape on here so that it would, I could see like which one I'm at, and I went with sort of colors going into the sender that are mirrored on each side.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So the blue one's right in the middle, and then I got a couple going out each way, and that just helped me
and
keep
remember
which
which
on track.
one is which too, especially in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, because what I had this was this is my live rig for my last project called Crinkum Crankum, which is like a rock fusion kind of thing, and I would change sounds quite frequently because it's just a trio, and so I'm always having different sounds, and each song had its own bank on there. So you got 2, 4, 6, 7 sort of banks along the bottom there, or programs. So each song would have multiple programs on there, and then I would bank up to the next one for the next song.
Oh, so you had a pretty strict set list, and so you could just kind of bang.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be like this song into that song or whatever, but I wanted to make sure that each song had its own bank of presets on there so that I could switch between them and not get mixed up. So even if I didn't use a couple of those, I just like to keep it simple, because with MIDI you can have endless programs and endless sets and stuff like that.
Do you usually do it kind of like in a preset mode, or do you ever kind of run that in pedal board mode?
Well, that's the cool thing. If you look at the top left button there with the 2 little yellow dots, hit that one and it's pedal board mode.
Cool. Yeah.
Which is cool. But for the most part, it was with that project, it was presets. But it's nice having the option
freedom
to do that, because otherwise you're like stuck in presets, and then you're like, oh, I need to I suddenly want this one pedal that's not programmed into this thing.
Exactly.
You're
or something goes wrong.
Yeah,
it kind of gives you a little breathing room.
It gives you something there.
And does your presets also connect MIDI to? Because I noticed that you have some MIDI pedals there, and it's switching different presets.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I have on here, this is a 4-cable setup. Oh wow, you're going. Well, actually, it's 5 cables, because
5 cable method.
I've also got TRS cable going to the amp
channel
to switch the channels. Cool. In addition to, so the MIDI from there goes to that to the HX1 and the timeline up in the top there. So that's the beauty of a switcher like this. Once you get it all programmed, is that it'll switch out any combination of these, and it'll call up any MIDI preset on the digital ones and stuff like that. But maybe I'll just run through from the beginning, sort of how the signal flow goes into here. So basically, the guitar goes into the Jerry Cantrell wah pedal.
Did it actually have that artwork?
It does.
Really?
Yeah. That's a limited. They've done several limited Jerry Cantrell wahs, and I thought that one was super
really cool.
Super cool.
Super
and Jerry's got a fantastic wah sound, like a rock wah. It's just big, wide
big
crybaby, sort of
kind
thing.
of wide Q or like a narrow Q.
It's pretty wide. It's like a wah kind of thing. Not quite like Zakk Wylde territory. That one's a really big one, but that one's a great wah, and it looked really cool. So I go into there, and then it goes into the loop switcher from there, and basically everything except for the HX1 and the timeline and the loop station are in basically the front of the amp for the 4-cable method. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with 4-cable method, basically means if you have an amp with an effects loop, that you have some of your effects, your guitar going through the effects and then into the front of the amp, and then out of the effects loop, it comes back to the pedal board with another cable, runs through some of your time-based effects like reverbs and delays, and then goes back to the effects loop there. So that way you get your gain type stuff like compressors, overdrives, fuzzes out front of the amp where they work best, and you get your reverbs and delays in the effects loop where they work best. If it's a amp, like this EVH where you got your distortion coming from there, which is what I'm running. This is running with a Mesa Boogie Stiletto.
Oh, that's a great amp. Cool amp.
Which is a 2-channel EL34 amp from them. And so all the funky pedals are kind of on the front end. And I'll start with my probably favorite pedal of all time, which is right next to the wah there. That is the Sub-Decay Vitruvian mod. That is a ring modulator.
Oh. You're rocking the ring modulator.
And it's not often that you'll hear people say that a ring mod is their favorite pedal, but that thing is so much fun.
Wow.
It is so cool. And I think a lot of people try a ring mod and go, oh, this is useless because it just makes clanging noises, which is true. They do make a lot of clanging noises, which can be a lot of fun. But what's really cool about this one is it's got pitch tracking on there. So a little switch up on the top there. If you have it high, basically it will put a pitch like an octave up based on the interval that you choose. So the carrier, you choose between fifths, fourths, thirds, and octaves for the pitch that it's paired with.
That's cool.
I don't know the science of ring modulators. It's really confusing to me how it works, but it kind of pairs a pitch with it, but it's like out of tune, so it goes clangy and stuff. But when you put it in the tracking mode, it all of a sudden makes that pitch kind of in tune and sounds like an octave or a fifth.
Tonal, yeah.
So it's like almost like a harmonizer, except it's funky and weird and quirky. And I use it a lot in the low mode with the carrier set to number 4, which is an octave. So it sounds like an octave down, but it doesn't sound like a pure octave. It sounds like a very funky, like 70s analog kind of.
That's cool,
octave.
bro. I like that.
And it's so much fun. But if you switch it into tracking off, now you're back into robot clang territory, which is just wild. And, fun.
I had a Mooger Fugger.
Ooh, those are cool.
I had one
the
of those.
big one?
Yeah, the big one.
Those are
wood
awesome.
I had one of those for years, and I did everything in my power to integrate that in my rig. Everything. But I just I couldn't justify that size.
That's a big footprint too.
But that tracking idea, that would probably be a nice element. I ended up just using it just to add a little harmonics when I had distortion on.
Yeah, it adds cool textures and funky stuff that you can't explain. It's really cool.
So I'm props to you, bud, for finding a way to integrate. And I've tried. So good for you, man.
Oh man, it's so much fun. And I mean, I have to that fully came from listening to a lot of Wayne Krantz.
I was literally going to say
he's the guy that I think legitimized a ring modulator in a
Why do you think I got the Mooger Fugger?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was Wayne Krantz.
He started doing cool stuff. It's like, oh, I got to try that.
I like that.
And that's fun. But the pitch tracking thing is a whole different thing. That's really cool. Next over, we've got the Keeley Neutrino envelope filter for like a Mutron kind of thing. That one's really great. And that one's also running straight into that little mini hypergravity compressor. And I'm just using that as a limiter right after the envelope filter because I've always found that it makes the envelope filter just track a little better and works a little nicer, especially if you've got a little bit of dirt on the amp. It gets really peaky, and that just tidies it up in a nice way. So those two pedals are in one loop together because they always go on at the same time.
Sometimes with when it comes to ring modulators, when you play, because it's a very expressive pedal, it can really hurt the ears. So putting a compressor after that,
it really works.
It's nice. You're the one that told me about that before, and I thought it was brilliant because I would always end up tweaking my envelope filter to where it didn't hurt the ears so much.
Yeah, sometimes they're like, wah!
But then you lose the really cool things about the envelope filter when you kind of you try. But just adding a compressor, that alone, you can keep that edgy envelope filter sound while
just tames the top.
Not hurting everybody and not being so obnoxious. Great idea. I stole that from you. Great idea.
There we go. We got the RC booster there. I just use that as if I need an extra boost. Like I said, I'm getting the gain from the amp. It's a 2-channel amp with basically a clean channel and then a high gain channel. But if I want a little bit of grit on the clean channel, that one gets engaged. And if I just want the dirty channel to be more dirty, that gets engaged as well. That's the second version. It's got the two circuits in there. I honestly don't use the second circuit a heck of a lot, but it's there. So that's kind of cool.
I remember when the exotic effects first came out, it was the RC, the AC, and the BB.
Yep.
And I remember
I have all three of them.
Yeah, right. They were huge. Yeah. Everyone wanted them because it was exactly what we were asking for, like a really beautiful, rich sounding boost that didn't just mask the sound of our amplifiers. It was there was a time where pretty much every overdrive really imposed itself onto your sound, whereas those ones really they add just enough magic to it to take it to that sweet spot. Great pedals.
Yeah, nice
Great pedals.
Yeah. And then back up in the top right are the other pedals in this front end. We got that's the Jackson Audio modular fuzz. up on the top. And this is kind of a funky one. When I first saw this pedal, I thought it was really gimmicky because it's actually got little analog chips that you put into it and take out depending on the voicing of the fuzz pedal they want. So you can make it like a fuzz face, or you can make it like a big muff or a tone bender or whatnot. And then it comes with one that's just called a modern. And that's actually the one that I like. I don't use a ton of fuzz, but what I do love are Octavia circuits.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Tying into my ring modulator love. And this one has an awesome octave circuit in there because the fuzz is on the left side, and that's got the volume and the 3-band EQ and a mid control.
Very
so
modern
it's a
kind of
super versatile fuzz. But then on the right hand side, you got your octave button down there, and that's the little knobs. So there's a mix on the far right, which is the mix of how much octave you want in there. So you can crank it up if you want full octave, or you can turn it down if you just want a little bit, or if you turn it off, it'll actually be just like a boost. Or sorry, I guess the blend would be more for that, and the octave is how much of that octave circuit is in there. But it's a really, like, I used to have Octafuzz from Fulltone on there, which is really nice. But this one, just the thing with Octavias is, you know, they're very specific to where on the guitar you can get those notes.
They sound the best.
It's like, you know, the classic thing is like neck pickup, roll it off a little bit, and you play around the 12th fret, and all of a sudden it comes out. But if you want to get that elsewhere on the guitar, it doesn't really work. And you're like, oh, get back here. Oh, ooh, cool. There's that sound again. But the octave on this one just allows you to get that octave basically anywhere on the fretboard, and it just pops out really nice. And at the same time, it still has the weird clanginess.
And is it an analog Octavia kind of thing?
Yeah, it's an Octavia thing. I don't know specifically what it's
very
after, because it definitely tracks a lot nicer than a traditional Octavia, but it's not so much that it's like too polished. You can still get those like weird ring modulator kind of tones and stuff.
That's why I like Octavias more than like just like a Pog or something. It's those it's those ring modulator. It's again me trying to find ways to get ring modulator that works with me. The Octavia.
It does. You can sound really close to ring mods.
Yeah, in that world.
If you get the fuzz turned off, and if you get your volume down a little bit, you can get some pretty cool stuff. So that one's a fun one. I mostly just use it for the octave circuit. I don't really use the fuzz a heck of a lot, but it's there if I ever need it, which is cool. And then the last one in the front end, there's the Red Witch Deluxe Moon Phaser. That's Red Witch pedals.
Right at the end, you put the phaser before the effects loop.
Yeah, I've always, the phaser, I'm always like, do I like it better than the effects loop? Do I like it better out front? There's kind of, the phaser is the one modulation where I'm like unsure of. There's good to both. I think I've largely left it in front, and it seems to work nice there. And that one, I think that brand is out of business these days, because I have another one of those pedals that's broken, and I've tried reaching out to them.
They're not.
Everything bounces back. So
is it like a Yahoo.ca account?
No, it was a legit thing, but it's all bouncing back. So I think those are done. So that's sort of the front end of it. And then in the effects loop portion, which are controlled by MIDI, coincidentally, they don't have to be, but the Line 6 HX1
great pedal,
and the Strymon Timeline. The HX1, I use it predominantly for harmonies. So I use the pitch shifter and the harmonizer in there, and that sounds awesome in the effects loop. But when I got it, what I didn't realize, this is kind of a cool thing, is that it has stereo in and out.
Yep.
Or you can run it dual mono. And if you run it dual mono, you can run it 4-cable method. So once I found out.
Oh no, what are you doing?
So I have that running 4-cable method in the switcher.
That's so awesome.
It's
really?
so awesome.
What a move.
Yeah, so I've got the one output goes to the part of the switcher that's routed to the effects loop, which is where I use the harmonizer function.
That's
but
great.
I
So
also
smart.
I routed the other side to one of the front end patches so that I can call up like a boost or an overdrive or whatever and program that in that goes into the front of the amp. So it's like totally blows your mind a little bit when you do 4-cable method of that in a 4-cable method switching setup. It's kind of crazy.
Well, that's great because the HX1 is so versatile that it's kind of a shame to just pigeonhole it in one spot. So
yeah,
the fact
it's
that
great.
You can put one in the front end, one in the back end effects loop, Very, very clever.
I've been thinking about buying another one and putting on my little board and doing the same thing.
The HX ones are great.
It's so cool.
HX one's a Line 6 pedal that has pretty much all the Line 6 effects in it, and so it's a very versatile piece, especially if you just need that one sound for that one tone, that one song. It's ready to rock.
It's cool.
And
It's a
roll.
real Swiss Army knife thing, and then got the Streamline there. I use predominantly a ducking delay on there.
Oh yeah,
and
I
then
like the ducking
a little
ones,
bit
right?
of occasionally a tape delay or a bit of modulated, but that thing does a million delays that
Legendary
I don't
pedal.
use.
I remember the anticipation for that thing when it
Yeah,
first
it's
came
pretty
out.
cool.
Everyone couldn't wait for that to come out.
And there's a looper that's on the very end there. The looper, I had a few samples in there that I would kick off occasionally, like start of a song, click that, and it would play the loop through my effects loop. But I didn't really do much in the way of like live looping with it. It was more just for storing some of that. So there you go.
Well, we broke. I think we had a run of our pedal board. What do you call it? Rigs on trial. We had a run where every board had an earthquaker effect on it. We broke the chain here.
There you go.
But
Breaking-
we
breaking
do
the
have
chains.
the loop station there, so the loop station run is holding strong. But no,
Everybody
earthquaker.
should have a loop station.
I think so. I have
it's
the
a
big
cool-
one.
You got the big
I have
one?
a couple. I have like the one with the drum machine in it.
Yeah.
And then I have the not the biggest one, like the 500 series one.
I had the 50 for a while. That was a cool one. It was pretty big.
What are these? What are your Apache cables?
Oh, so those are cool. That's those cables. I bought these because they're one of the smallest on the market. These are the Three Monkeys cables, which is I believe the company's owned by one of the guys from Aerosmith.
Yeah, or ZZ Top, something like that, right? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's the one of the other guitar player in Aerosmith, whose name I also
Brad
forget.
Whitford.
Brad Whitford. Yeah,
Did I just make
yeah.
that?
Yeah,
right?
Good job. There you go.
Wow, me.
Yeah, Three Monkeys. So they're a solderless cable, which we were talking about on the cable show or topic last time there. So it's a solderless one. You just kind of turn them in there, which is really simple. But the you can see how tiny those ends are, and I had that because that switcher is so big, it was kind of hanging off the front of the board, and by going to all those cables, I was able to condense it and put it on there and saved a lot of space.
With these switcher pedals too, like they put the jack so close to each other. That
There's a
like,
lot going on.
There's not a lot of different plugs you can use with those kind of things. So yeah, those small ones, they're just perfect. Well, very cool rig, man.
That's the big one.
Pretty rad. I like a lot of the decisions there. Really good. You pass. Trial's good. Nice carpet.
Oh yes, the hallway carpet
Everything's
with the
rocking
snake.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our show this week. They only have one more thing, which is our Tube Screamer.
Oh yeah, we need a tube
of
screamer
the
of the day.
Our Tube Screamer of the
And
day.
there's no tube screamers on that board.
No Tube Screamer. I'm so disappointed in you. How dare you? How dare you? My Tube Screamer pick of the day is the Signa Drive by
Signa Drive.
CMAT Mods. I don't even know
CMAT
if they
Mods.
make
Yeah,
them
yeah.
anymore, but I remember that pedal coming out. Look at that thing. Delicioso.
Well, it's a shade of green.
It's a shade of green. I had a 3-way switch to change the clipping. And I remember when I first played that thing, I'm like, what an ugly pedal, but what a wonderful sounding pedal. So
It's not the nicest thing. To look
how many
at, but
fonts
it's-
are on that thing right there? There's
Yeah,
one.
look at that.
Can't quite
One,
figure out what's going on there.
2, 3.
Really good stuff. It's like Art Deco meets Comic Sans. Really, really good. That is the Signa Drive. That's our Tube Screamer of the day. That being said, that's it for this episode.
Survived another one. Yeah.
If you have a rig you want to share with us, please.
Yeah,
go
we
on
love
Instagram.
looking at those.
Tag us at Big Shiny Tones Rigs on Trial. And if you have any discussion topics you want us to talk about, we love debating stuff, especially when we don't agree. That's the most fun.
Oh, totally. Send us a message. Put it in the comments.
We want to
DM
learn.
us.
Awesome.
Send us a postcard.
Please, actually, send us a postcard. That being said, we'll see you all soon. Take
See
care.
you next week. Thanks for watching.
Oh, Mr. Wayne, I was born in the darkness. I did not see the